Hello, you might know me as T-Lore Fire 27 or Matthew. I've been playing Pirates since Pirates of the Revolution was in stores, which was almost 20 years ago. I'm just getting back into it again, and one of my favorite aspects of the game is making ridiculous combinations of ships and crew. I'm going to go over several of these combinations as part of a weekly Pirates Combos video. These combinations aren't meant to be entirely practical, and often exceed the 40-point suggested limit. What these should do is highlight some helpful crew, ships, and abilities you may not see often. Who knows, you might find a piece of this useful in your next game. Be sure to check out my Pirates database to browse cards and look for other fun and unusual abilities, or check out my Etsy shop, Meeple's Woodworking, for some Pirates-inspired accessories. So what we've got here is the Intrepid, which is one of my favorite ships. And it may not be a broken ship, but I've certainly sunk plenty of ships with it. But what we're going to go over today is actually how to make some very broken combinations. So this is the key to just about every broken combination that you'll see in the game. It is one of two game pieces that allows you to copy. It says choose any ability possessed by ship or crew in play, also known as a copier. So with this combination, you can copy some pretty weird things, such as a sea monster onto a submarine, or some other abilities you may not expect to see combined. So this is pretty much the crux of what you'll see in every broken combination that I'm going to show you. So the first thing that you have to figure out when breaking a combination is how do you get Davy Jones onto the ship? One of the keys to that is being able to put cursed crew on your ship. So if we look through, some of the factions have a crew that allows you to put crew of any nationality on the ship. Some of them do not. Some of them are limited to a specific faction. So we'll start with the British. They have a couple of crew. Lady Kamaile is one of them. They allow you to use crew of any nationality can use their abilities on this ship. That's the key that you're looking for. Occasionally, you'll find one such as Horatio Linares, who says Jade Rebellion crew may use their abilities on the ship. So it's limited to a specific faction. They're a little bit cheaper, and most of the time, they're not quite as helpful. So in any case, we're going to be looking for crew of any nationality. So for Lady Kamaile, she's British. So we've got British crew that are able to use crew of any nationality, which will be really helpful. There's also a card in Pirates of the Spanish Main, Brother Virgil, that has only the ability crew of any nationality may use their abilities on this ship. Lady Kamaile also has a good treasure exploring ability, but we won't really be going into that today. So then, if we look at Barbary Corsairs, they have one that allows you to use pirates. I don't have that card, so I'm not going to show it. Spain is one of the bigger factions, and they have a lot of difficulty getting unusual crew on. So if we start out with the Inquisitor is the easiest way to get cursed crew on because of this black mark. Now, this is a very expensive crew, so 8 points against the value of the ship, as well as 11 points from Davy Jones. So that's going to be something we run into problems with. That'll allow you to get cursed crew on there. If you need another way to do it, there's also Warlord Cavendish, and you may be wondering, well, why is a Jade Rebellion crew on a Spanish ship? And that's because pirate crew may use their abilities on this ship. Couple that with Horatio Linares, Jade Rebellion crew may use their abilities on this ship. And so you're able to chain these together to get into pirate crew, which have their own crew of any nationality may use their abilities on this ship. So Spain have to do quite a bit of dancing around to get Davy Jones on the ship, but it can be done, and you'll see it done. Next, we have the Cursed themselves. If they're trying to use crew from other nationalities, they've got a couple of options. Tabitha, McWarren, and Cavendish are both crew that can use any nationality abilities on their ship. So we'll be using these if we need to get more than just Davy Jones onto a cursed ship. If you're looking for French, they have a couple of options depending on what you're trying to do. So Jordan Dumas is 5 points, which is a little bit extra. He has a reroller in there, which can be nice. But if you're really trying to save on points, you can also get Jacques Duc de Valois, I'm probably messing that up, who has Black Mark. So for 3 points versus the 5, you can get cursed crew onto the ship, and that may be all you need for some combinations. And then if we look at pirates, they have 2 crew that allow crew of any nationality to use their abilities on this ship. So Crimson Angel from Rise of Fiends and Anamaria from Pirates of the Caribbean. They both do the same thing, gives you a couple of options to do that. If you can get into pirates, which a lot of them can, these will allow you to be able to get crew of any nationality. So that's all of the different kinds of crew. You'll notice one of the factions that I didn't say is the Americans. They have absolutely no crew that allow you to use crew of other nationalities on their ships. And then I also didn't mention the mercenaries with expatriate keywords. They can go on any ship, but they tend to mess up the faction and being able to dock, so we won't be using them at all. So remember what I said with point values. So if you're up in some of these really high point values, how are you going to get out of that to be able to put it onto a large ship? If you have a ship like the Delusion, you're able to handle that just fine. It's got 35 points. But on some smaller ships, you're going to need crew like Jonah. So Jonah is a pirate crew. There's a couple of other factions that have this. It's a 0-point crew that allows you to exceed your point limit, essentially. It'll allow you to put this on the ship. Crew always take up a cargo space, so you'll start watching your cargo space instead of your point limit. But there's no point limit on your ship. So on a 7-point ship, if it's got 5 cargo, you can put a whole bunch of crew on there, regardless of how expensive they are. Now, the thing with 0-point crew is they always have to go on the crew that match their nationality. So in this case, Jonah is a pirate. So we have to be on a pirate ship in order for him to be used. But there's a couple of other cards that are like that, and because of this point limit, there's some combinations we won't be able to quite do. And finally, because of that cargo limit, we're going to be looking for a lot of links, as well as we're also going to be using Cargo Master. Now, there's only one Cargo Master in the game. It's American. Now, there is a Spanish named crew that has Cargo Master, but on some of these, we're going to bend that rule a little bit. Because Cargo Master is considered a generic crew, there was the intention of adding more Cargo Masters and more factions. Just the game ended before that was done. I try not to use this too much in combination, but it may be something that we have to use. And there are other crew that will allow you to get additional cargo, but because of this, crew always take up 1 cargo space, and Cargo Master can be done off ship. That allows you to break the cargo limit just a little bit. Finally, I'm going to go over a couple of other crew that I really enjoy. They may not necessarily be broken like this, but if we look at Lord Micron from Fire and Steel, you can throw him on what I'll call a dummy ship, a ship that you keep docked at your home island or do something non-confrontational with so that you have the ability for Davy Jones to copy. You can put him on there and use the action from that ship and give it to whatever your lead ship is. So if you were to have something like the Delusion as your lead ship and you put Davy Jones and a bunch of other ships on there, you can put Lord Micron on your other ship to be able to give actions to the Delusion. So that's just an example of one of the better crew to use as an alternate crew. And then another crew that I really like to use would be Ralph David, because 1 point for Eternal is pretty ridiculous. Can't put him on pirate ships, but that's okay. So those are 2 crew that you'll probably see pop up kind of in the sidelines, but they're not ones that are going to directly break any of the ships. So, something to think about for next time. What do you think the fastest ship in the game is? How fast can it go? Do you think it's a 10-mast? Most of the time the 10 masts are the biggest and best ships, but we'll find out next time what the fastest ship is.